Welcome into the Shop Talk podcast. I'm your host, Drew Franklin. I have the pleasure of introducing our first guest on the Shop Talk podcast. And this is going to be kind of goofy, kind of a little weird, but I'm going to introduce one of my favorite people, Drew Franklin. Works in marketing in Birmingham, Alabama. Spent the better part of a decade in the marketing capacity, really on the manufacturing side of marketing. And he's got kind of an interesting background story, and we'll let him kind of dive into that. But the reason we're putting this podcast together is really to highlight stories, whether that's marketing stories, some lessons, some how-tos, maybe some career and industry insights, but also just to highlight just good people. And I just want to tee it up and introduce Drew Franklin. Thanks for joining us on the podcast today. Yeah, thanks for having me on today's podcast. I really appreciate the opportunity just to share a little bit about what I've seen in 2020 for brand marketing and how we can dive in on some new channels and be able to research some previous channels, but also explore the world of podcasting and see how that's going to become a big trend going into 2020. Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. I see that you are definitely invested in some Altec wear, and you must be a nice vest kind of guy yourself, so I appreciate that. Well, Drew, tell us a little bit about your career progression so far, starting in from graduation to where you're currently working right now. Thanks for that introduction. Again, I'm Drew Franklin. I'm a Birmingham guy, born and raised. Went to the University of Alabama, graduated with a public relations degree in 2010. And moved back to Birmingham, got my start in marketing at a small family-owned manufacturing company out in Trussville, SCA Performance. It was also known as Southern Comfort Conversions. Came in as their marketing coordinator, did a lot of different things. This was when Facebook fan pages were really an actual thing, and I know it's hard for a lot of us marketers to think that was a short 10 years ago. And really growing social media channels there, and also probably getting in trouble for quote-unquote playing on the internet, but also being able to generate leads and build up an audience and do those things on social media. I was just fascinated by starting in my marketing career. I progressed to a short stint at a software company, which I think was probably one of the more riskier moves in my career, but I grew so much in that opportunity working at a startup software company here in Birmingham called Grades First, where I was part of a client success team, going from technical training to sales engineering, if you will, and really growing and being able to get my hands in on marketing when I could, and different things in that different lens, and learning how to sell, learning how to pitch value constantly to clients through a digital platform. But then I had an opportunity after that company was acquired to get back into full-time marketing at another manufacturing company out in Trussville, just down the road from where I began my career at Spock Automation, where I was able to lead their marketing team and lead the marketing efforts for the company as the marketing manager. Started out as a one-man marketing shop. We were able to grow that team a little bit at a time, and really being able to dive into the inbound methodology of marketing and MarTech, and kind of being able to take all those things and really kind of grow that aspect of my career. And not only that, but graphic design and website design and all the things that kind of go into what a modern marketer looks like today in 2020. I was able to do that at Spock Automation. I was given the freedom to fail and freedom to test and innovate and succeed all at the same time, which is great. And I'm so thankful for that opportunity. And where I am today, I serve on the marketing communications team here at Altec. And it's been an awesome opportunity to grow from a strategic level marketer and thinking from that kind of high-end level, being able to small opportunities to lead in different ways, and also be a part of a bigger marketing team, if you will. Most of my career has been spent either as a solo marketer or a marketing team of 2 to 3 people at max. And I've had the opportunity to really be a part of a larger, more strategic thinking marketing team at the moment. And it's incredible. It's really pushed me, and I've been able to learn from some of the best and the brightest in the marketing field here in Birmingham. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Again, this is going to be one of our test scenarios to see how we could pull off an actual podcast and see if it even sounds okay, looks okay on the camera. You're going to see 2 Drews on the old podcast here, and we'll just see how it looks. So, Drew, what are some of the things that you've noticed in 2020 for brand marketers that would be able to kind of set themselves apart in this year, in this decade, honestly? Yeah, that's a good point. 2020 for brand marketers. It's going to be pretty interesting. It was an article that came out. Wistia put out their big, bold top 10 brand marketing predictions for 2020. And a link for that will definitely be included in the show notes. But one of their the top one that they kind of assumed that will happen in 2020 is podcasts will become the new blogs. There's other items in that top 10 list that you can definitely peruse through and kind of see if it fits with your particular marketing strategy. But podcasts to me was the one that really stuck out. There's a couple of different reasons why. It's faster, it's more scalable, and podcasts really give you a ton of content from one recording, whether you're recording that on video and being able to put that into an audio format, and you're able to give your audience opportunity and options to consume that particular information. And you're able to transcribe the audio and put it into a blog post, and then therefore you could send that on an email and put that on your website. And there's just so many ways that you can then entertain your audience through podcasts. In another big way that podcasts are going to be an opportunity, it's just an easy way to share stories. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize. I know at Altec right now, we're currently in a flux where we've got a lot of new folks that are coming on board. How do we onboard those people? How do we educate them about the different offerings and the different services that Altec provides? One avenue that we're looking at is podcasts. And how do we effectively get that information in front of our audience, our internal customers here at Altec? And podcasts, being able to interview different people in leadership and different people who are leading the different business units within Altec, and being able to kind of share their Altec story and being able to highlight what their business unit, what their service impacts our customer. And it really just kind of builds that teamwork effort, being able to showcase the total Altec value. And I think that's one reason that podcasts will be successful in 2020. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing just some insights and just good conversation. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in Premiere Pro and see how we can edit this out and see how it looks. And definitely, folks who are listening and or watching this Shop Talk Podcast, episode 0. Again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity that I've had to come on this episode 0. Hey, this is pretty fun. It is kind of goofy for me personally, that just kind of see, another good-looking guy like yourself, and really it feels like I'm just kind of staring at the mirror. But this is good stuff, and I hope that maybe we'll get to do this in the future. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let us know how we can improve. Definitely let us know what kind of conversations, what kind of people you'd love to see on the Shop Talk podcast. And we'll hope to touch base soon. Thanks. Thanks to our great sponsor, Altec, for sponsoring this particular podcast. If you've ever been curious on how you can get Altec teamwear, you can visit teamaltec.icostore.com. Make sure to enter the promo code ALTEC10 for 10% off and free shipping on your first order.